it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We are zooming in and we are focusing in on the topic of detachment. Detachment, the opposite of attachment. And really how this plays in the emotional healing process of healing from a narcissistic or psychopathic relationship. And that is the most important topic of emotional detachment. When you are getting rid of the memory, really the reminder and the memory and the rehearsing that has been stored in your body as a result of being in a narcissistic or psychopathic relationship, where basically you have rehearsed again and again a sort of relation or identification of yourself as you have over-identified with this person. And when we talk about over-identifying, it's meaning that you are essentially determining, or you are evaluating, or you're defining yourself and your identity as it strictly relates to this person, as you identify with this person. So in other words, how you evaluate yourself is in accordance or in relation, strict relation to this person. So in other words, I am not enough because X, Y, and Z. I am not good enough. I am not smart enough. I am not kind enough. I am not innocent enough. I am not tall enough. I'm not short enough. I'm not fat enough. I'm not skinny enough because of X, Y, and Z, because of this person has said this. They have interpreted this. I'm not fast enough. I'm not quick enough. I'm not slow enough. And this becomes basically what we call an over-identification with the needs of the narcissist or the psychopath, and a negation or diminishing of your own personal needs. In other words, this becomes a habit, and this becomes basically stored or memorized in the body itself. So the body then begins running your life. Even if the relationship has been familial in nature, which means this narcissist was a parent, a grandparent, or a sibling, or whether it is a spouse or a lover or someone who is at your workplace. Basically, this becomes then a feeling. And feelings, as we've discussed, are the language of the body. So your feelings are basically neurochemicals, which are, transmitted down to the body itself. And, there's millions and millions of cellular transactions which are occurring in the body. Whether it's releasing energy, it's feeding your muscles, it's respiration. A lot of this information is feeling in nature, which of course are driven by the thoughts and also your self-belief. So your feelings then are stored or memorized or locked in or memorized or rehearsed within the body. And if you have over-identified with the needs of the narcissist, your body then has, if you've been with them, for weeks, months, years, or decades, you can get an understanding of how locked in, how rehearsed, and how memorized these feelings, whether positive, negative, or indifferent, are basically locked in and stored in the body, your body. And when people talk about how they are, out and they experience social anxiety, or they're at a job and they can't go for the promotion because they're holding themselves back, or they don't know how to emerge or create an exit strategy from their current relationship because they don't know what to do, they don't know where to go, they don't know what skills to develop. I hear this quite frequently. It is because you have trained inadvertently or subconsciously or unbeknownst to you, you've trained and rehearsed your body to feel stuck in this manner. Through the messages, through the judgment, through the experience that you have had with this narcissist or this psychopath. So, for example, we have the relating to the needs of the narcissist. For example, let's just use an example. A psychopath is a motorcyclist. Let's just use a guy, for example, a motorcycle guy. So the girl who is identifying with this gentleman who might be psychopathic in nature, she then adapts and adjusts to become fit according to the needs that fit into the role that oftentimes the psychopath is projecting. To fill those shoes, to fill those boots, to fill that need to have, somebody to ride with or to be married to or what have you. So there's then a hyper, oftentimes, especially in narcissistic or psychopathic relationship, there's a lot of needs being directed, where you need to be this type of person to fill their needs. So then people, in the name of love, begin adjusting and adapting to this person's needs, but oftentimes it's also along with a boundary violation. So in other words, they end up sacrificing or forfeiting their needs in order to take care of the needs of this individual, who then ends up disappearing or not being right. So this person is then feeling like, who am I? I feel invisible. I don't know who I am. I don't know where to go from here. What is the next step? It is because you have hyper identified with the needs and memorized these, rehearsed these, and basically lock these in a feeling within your body which is not serving you. So this is called, an energetic attachment or a trauma bond, or what is known basically as an attachment. And so if you can, just have a visualization, is that you are basically attached to something which is not longer serving you. A lot of people use the expression, the ball and chain, the chains that bind, the ties that bind. There's a lot of expressions that are colloquial, but that speak to this feeling. So if you can understand it from a neuroscientist or quantum level, and quantum means basically the field of possibilities, and that which is like an energetic field in life, is that you are basically, needing to dissolve and detach from this feeling that has been rehearsed and memorized within your body. So these feelings can be locked in, whether it's fear, whether it's guilt, whether it's a feeling of being forced, whether it's a feeling of being ignored, whether it's a feeling of being neglected, unattended to, criticized, judged, had the finger point at you. Whatever that feeling is, you need to begin to dissolve that feeling and unmemorize, basically unrehearse, unlearn that feeling. So then we come to the need for, basically meditation, which becomes, basically slowing down the neural networks, quieting down these feelings, these memories, these associations which create an identity within you. I am my father's daughter. I am, my mother's wife. I am, my father's this, and, people say, I married my mother or I married my father, it continues a legacy, can carry on through generations, or, you might find it played out in your profession. You might see a lot of, similar traits to what you experienced in the microcosm of your family, and then how it plays out in your workplace. And oftentimes, especially if people are emerging from these relationships, they can be very disabling in nature and create a lot of emotional pain. I speak to a lot of people who, they have this social anxiety at work, and they kind of feel like they're still in this role, which they were, in with the narcissist, even at their workplace, and they're not fully alive. They're not fully there. They're not feeling whole. They're feeling wounded. They're feeling, this experience of being, hurt, or, this kind of undergirding feeling, which means underneath, kind of like underneath, they feel this feeling that, there's, something about to happen, which they don't know what it is. And it's this uncertainty or fear that it's going to trigger them back into an old state of being. So realize that you need the answer, which I'm giving you the answers here on this channel, is you need to unrehearse, unmemorize these feelings. You need to let them go. And, the how do I is through first of all, the awareness that this is what's taking place. And you need to come to a space where, you're becoming indifferent and kind of reducing this back to norm, coming back to neutral, which you can do through meditation, and really letting go of that role, letting go of that feeling, becoming nobody to this person, becoming no thing to this person, becoming, kind of the tabula rasa, as we say, the blank slate once again. So you can then look forward in your life and begin to then create a vision and a feeling with which you do want to create and manifest in your life. And then begin to cause that, call that and cause that into being. And so, people say, well, what is my strategy moving forward then? Well, that's what we talk about in the tools I discuss in the book that I'm reading, which is coming up with the feelings in understanding, and writing out, if I were not restricted by this old role that my family had placed me in, the narcissist had placed me in, what would I really like to be, do, have, and become? What are my real passions? What is really drawing me out in life? Whether it's, a physical relationship, whether it's a job, whether it's a hobby, whether it's an interest, whether it's a new part of your identity that's calling you forth. That is where you get into the drawing board and basically, and asking yourself, if this hurt was not holding me back, I would really love to become a gardener. I would really love to become a triathlete. I would really love to become an artist. I would really love to become an artist, a potter. I would really love to work in textiles. I would really love to do hair. I would really love to be working in massage. There's a lot of different things, but you have not become open to this. You have not attended to this. You have not become aware of it because you're locked into these negative feelings. And so when people tell me I feel invisible, it's because you haven't given visibility to this part of yourself yet. You haven't been able to become aware of this, conscious of this. Ask yourself these questions. And then furthermore, bring these into experience and begin to take radical action in that direction, because you're holding yourself back, for fear, out of guilt. I would be, made to feel embarrassed. I would feel ashamed if I were to move, I would really love to, open up a popsicle stand, a lemonade stand, a hot dog joint. What are the different questions you can, what are the different questions you can ask yourself that can get you beyond these hurt and restricted feelings and really redesign, and liberate yourself towards what you would like to be directed to. Maybe you have a passion for travel. Maybe you would really like to travel. Maybe you would really like to grow spiritually. And spiritual growth is part of personal growth. And, maybe that's, experiencing different transcendent states of being, feeling different things, acknowledging different things, expanding your repertoire of your emotional being, and getting kind of a higher awareness of these things, where basically things start to really work and flow in your life again. So really, if you look also what's holding people back, there are so many things that are written into religion and society, honor thy mother and thy father, honor thy spouse, in sickness and in health, so there's oftentimes a lot of this information or energy that is tied into being stuck. And so you can basically look at, honor your mother and father. These are a lot of the sacred texts and the religious doctrine that comes forth in the Bible and, the Quran and, other, the Upanishads and things of this nature that might keep you stuck. And then you're interpreting it, it's just like, in abuse, in abuse and non-abuse. I mean, you have to realize that it's okay to separate from the abuse. And even if it is your family, realize that these are people. and that they are, on their journey, they are also stuck if they're in abusive states. And so if you can understand that the people who are abusive are also stuck. They are stuck, needing to hurt and project a lot of hurt onto others because they have not processed and worked through their own issues. So if that can kind of put things in perspective, again, it's because people tend to have over-idealized visions of this narcissist or the psychopath, either being, extremely charming, extremely talented, extremely wealthy, extremely adept professionally on the things that they are. Each person is unique, but, find what that is and become, not a degraded sense of them, but a realistic sense of them, realizing that they are people who also have things going on with them, but that maybe it's in your best interest to detach, which means, to cut the ties that have bonded you and kept you stuck, and to furthermore come into your own awareness and higher consciousness and ask yourself the questions that can help to draw that out. And we'll be working more on those specific tools to help you to detach in further videos. Is peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.